No, hey, you're gonna hurt yourself.
Mike.
Stand clear.
Mike, get off of the lift, please.
Fine,
Come on now.
I'm fine. Here we go.
Would you look? Get off of the...
We'll get somebody to clean that up.
We're the ones that gotta clean that up. Damn it, Michael!
We have to have this thing serviced. Old front, coming into the warehouse. Uh-oh! Better put on your ski boots. Wow! Happy New Year, Daryl! Hey, Daryl! You ever done this? I'm just gonna put this over there.
This is not a good idea right here.
Easy does it. Okay. Thank you to our hosts.
Hey, Michael, this ain't over.
Hierarchical Task Analysis, HTA. What is HTA? Organization of elements that describes the path of experiences a learner must take to achieve any single behavior that appears higher in the hierarchy. Did you know that HTA is also known as a prerequisite task analysis? HTA is also the most commonly used form of task analysis. When using other task analysis methods, an initial HTA is usually required. HTA can be used for almost all tasks. Minimal training is needed for HTA, but the more training one has, the better the analysis. Putting together an HTA is a very simple process. All you need is a pen, pencil, and a piece of paper. All it takes is writing down steps for a task. Software can also be used to record your HTA. A pen and paper can sometimes be old-fashioned, but software such as Microsoft Excel or Word are useful tools when organizing your charts or your steps. There are also special software tools especially made for HTA. Here's an example. During a HTA, every situation varies. However, there are 6 defined steps that one should follow in order for the task to be completed most efficiently. To start, we should look at the various plans and simple example for each. Linear plans work in sequential order by completing task 1, then 2, then 3. A nonlinear task, on the other hand, can be done in any order. Simultaneous plans involve multitasking by doing task 1, 2, and 3 all at the same time. These plans can become more complicated. For example, branching is when we do task 1, and if another variable x becomes present, we do task 2, then 3. Or if this variable does not exist, then the task may be completed at step 1. Cyclical plans involve doing task 1, then 2, then 3 repeatedly until variable x becomes present. The last type of plan is selection, where you have a choice to either complete task 1, then 2, or 3. In all these situations, a series of steps are present. They are as follows. Step 1. Define task under analysis. The first step in conducting an HTA is to clearly define the task under analysis. As well as identifying the task under analysis, the purpose of the task analysis effort should also be defined. For example, Marshall conducted an HTA of a civil aircraft landing task in order to predict design-induced error for the flight task in question. Step 2. Data collection process. Once the task under analysis is clearly defined, specific data regarding the task should be collected. The data collected during this process is used to inform the development of the HTA. Data regarding the task steps involved the technology used, interaction between man and machine, and team members. Decision-making and task constraints should be collected. There are a number of ways to collect this data, including observations, interviews, questionnaires, and walkthroughs. The methods used are dependent upon the analysis effort and the various constraints imposed, such as time and access constraints. Once sufficient data regarding the task under analysis is collected, the development of the HTA should begin.
Step 3. Determine the overall goal of the task. The overall goal of the task under analysis should be first specified at the top of the hierarchy. Example, land aircraft X at New Orleans Airport using the auto land system. Or boil kettle. Or listen to in-car entertainment. The example coming up is how to make a pot of coffee. Step 4. Determine task sub-goals. Once the overall task goal has been specified, the next step is to break this overall goal down into meaningful sub-goals, usually 4 or 5, which together form the task required to achieve the overall goal. In the task Land Aircraft X at New Orleans Airport using Auto Land System, the overall goal of landing the aircraft was broken down into sub-goals. Set up for approach, line up aircraft for runway, prepare aircraft for landing. In a HTA of a Ford Auto in-car radio, the overall task goal is to listen to the in-car entertainment. It can be broken down into the following sub-goals. Check unit status, press on and off button, listen to the radio, listen to a cassette, and adjust audio preferences. Step 5. Sub-goal decomposition. Next, the analyst should break down the sub-goals identified during Step 4 into further sub-goals and operations, according to the task step in question. This process should go until an appropriate operation is reached. The bottom level of any branch in an HTA should always be an operation. Whilst everything above an operation specifies goals, operations actually say what needs to be done. Therefore, operations are actions to be made by an agent in order to achieve the associated goals. For example, in the HTA of a flight task, Land Aircraft X at New Orleans Airport using the Auto Land system, the sub-goal, reduce airspeed to 210 knots, is broken down into the following operations. Check current airspeed and dial the speed selector knob to enter 210 on the display. Step 6. Once all of the sub-goals and operations have been fully described, the plans needed to be added. Plans dictate how the goals are achieved. A simple plan would say do 1, then 2, then 3, like I previously stated. Once the plan is completed, the agent returns to the superordinate level. Plans do not have to be linear and exist in many forms. The different types of plans are presented earlier in this video. The output of an HTA can either be a tree diagram or a tabular diagram.
Whether you need a full pot of rocket fuel before the birds start chirping, or just a few sips of decaf with your dessert, knowing how to make coffee is an indispensable and simple skill. You will need ground coffee, a coffee maker, a coffee filter, and some cold water. Step 1. Make sure the coffee you use is the right grind for your coffee maker. Consult your owner's manual if you're not sure. Step 2. Insert the proper size filter into the filter container. It should fit easily without bunching up or folding over. If your coffee maker has a permanent gold tone filter, you won't need to add anything extra. Step 3. Determine how many cups of coffee you want to make. An average cup is 8 ounces, and put 1 level tablespoon of ground coffee per cup into the filter. Use a heaping tablespoon for stronger coffee. Store coffee in an opaque, airtight container on your counter or in a cupboard for up to a few weeks. But contrary to popular belief, don't keep it in the refrigerator. Step 4. Fill your coffee maker pot with cold water based on the number of cups you're making. Although you can use the calibrated markings on the pot, measuring out the water with the cup that you plan to drink from will give you just the right amount. Step 5. Pour that water into the compartment usually found under a lid on top of the coffee maker. Step 6. The compartment has measurement lines too. Double check to make sure the water measures the same in the compartment as it did in the pot, especially if water was spilled in transfer. If they don't match, add water to bring it up to the right amount. Step 7. Return the pot to the coffee maker's heated surface, close the water compartment lid, and push the start button. Once the trickle stops, it's time to get out the cream and sugar and face the day. Did you know? The first automatic drip coffee maker, Mr. Coffee, was invented in
HTA is important to safety and productivity because the learner cannot perform the highest level task in the hierarchy without performing the task before in the respective sequence. It must be followed in a proper sequence of the task levels. If the learner skips a task in the hierarchy, they are putting themselves and possibly others at risk for injury and decrease in productivity. One must learn the tasks from the simplest task level to the most complex level in the specific sequence. HTA provides necessary information for the analysis and predictions of evaluations. It gives a framework to follow for the further evaluations. It has been applied to many methods of analysis, including interface design and evaluation, training, job description, work organization, and many more. A wide range of domains have also used HTA in analysis evaluations, including military application, emergency services, driving and public technology, and retail, to name a few.
Reliability depends on the care taken in data collection. Special attention should be given to the cross-checking in Step 5. Generally, HTA has poor levels of reliability. More specifically, it has low levels of inter-analyst reliability. This means that two different analysts will usually have different HTAs for the same task. It also means that the same task can be given different HTAs on separate occasions. Validity for HTA is usually high. Validity depends on whether the analyst correctly addresses the question asked and provides effective solutions.
My name is Amber Smith, and I'm going to talk to you about tuberculosis and the way that it's detected. Tuberculosis is an airborne infection that kills 1.3 million people each year, and there's approximately 9.4 million new cases each year. Tuberculosis vaccines must be kept upstate for children or they can get sent home from school. Tuberculosis injections are given intradermally to detect whether or not you have contracted tuberculosis. Tuberculosis is an intradermal shot, which means you get it between your first layer of skin and your second layer of skin, which is the epidermis and dermis. It's given approximately 4 fingers from your wrist and 4 fingers from your elbows. And today's demonstration, I'll be using this as my mid-forearm part.